What's up, everybody? My name is Key Air, and you are watching The Important Things That Really Matter. Today, we're going into part 3 of Men, Is It Worth Marrying in the U.S.? Part 3. Men, Is It Worth Marrying in the U.S.? Part 3. Now, what we're going to do today is go into many of the facts and figures associated with divorce, associated with marriage, so that you need to know these things. A lot of people don't know all the numbers. A lot of people do not know all of the numbers. And based upon the numbers and telling you other things that are going on in the system will give you some better information to be able to make a proper decision as to if marriage is good for you, or is marriage not good for you, or do you just need to continue to do some more thorough research into a person's background before you decide to marry them? Very, very important information. It's very important that you do some research into a person's background. And much of that information is going to be found while you are dating that person. You're going to find this information out while you're dating that person, and you should at least date a person for at least a year before you decide to marry them. A year to a year and a half, because a person is only going to be able to hide the real them for so long. A person is only going to be able to hide their real self for only so long. So that's why you want to date a person at least a year to a year and a half. This is very, very good information. This is wisdom. And this information can save you thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, and a whole lot of pain and suffering. Okay, so you need to find this information. You could be dating somebody. You can be with a particular woman and find out that woman, you might find out later on that she's into women, and you marry her and you find out at the last minute that she's into women after you done married her. Well, everything's said and done then, and there are a lot of ladies, a whole lot of ladies that are bisexual. And you need to ask yourself this question: is that somebody that you want to deal with? Do you want to deal with a woman that has a history of being bisexual? She basically, in a nutshell, if you don't know what bisexual is, that means the woman goes both ways. If a man is there, she'll screw around with the man. If a woman is there, she'll screw around with the woman. If the man and the woman is there in the same bed at the same time, she'll screw around with the man and the woman at the same time in the same bed, all at the same time. And then you need to ask yourself, do you really want to marry a person who has all this experience? Okay, because bottom line, if the woman messes around with other women, it's only another woman that has a vajayjay, not a man. And sooner or later, she's going to be thirsty. Sooner or later, she's going to be thirsty for another woman if she has done these things in the past for a good while. So if you decide to marry a woman who is bisexual, then you have to understand that your wife, there's going to be times where your wife is just going to disappear, and you can pretty much figure when she's disappearing, she's probably going to be disappearing, going to another woman instead of you. So these things you need to take into consideration. But anyway, I want to pop that in there real quick. Some things you need to take into consideration. Very, very important things that you need to take into consideration. So I even found some stuff out about some people. A lot of times it don't even take a whole lot. Doesn't even take a whole lot to find out if a person goes both ways or not. One of the things all you got to do is smell their breath. Smell their breath. Smell their breath. Sometimes certain people will forget to use mouthwash, and if their breath smells like another woman's vajayjay, then you know what that person is doing when they ain't around you. Okay, so these very, very simple. And then also too, there's a major problem that's going on right now, which is there's a major complaint with males and females. These are lesbians, they got complaints too, that a lot of women are not washing down there. A lot of women are not washing down there like they used to in the past. And the smell down in the vajayjay area for some women is really, really bad. This complaint is not only the complaint of men, it's the complaint from lesbians also too. There was one lady that was talking about she's planning on going back to men. And they asked her, well, why you planning on going back to men? She said she ran into too many women whose stuff smelled so bad, and she's putting her face down there, whose stuff smelled so bad, she's thinking about going back to men now, okay? So a lot of times, if you're a man, you think about dating somebody, if your woman happened to have her face down there with some other woman, it's not gonna be hard for you to not to tell. Because if a lot of ladies nowadays may have some hygiene problems, all you gotta do is smell your breath, and you ain't gotta be way up on them to be able to smell it. And I know one or two people who their stuff smelled bad to where 4 or 5 days later, almost a week later, the smell that was on my hand from them was still on my hand from them, and after 15 or 16 washings of my hand. And I remember one time, the first day, I washed my hand 3 different times. And over a period of a week, I washed my hand about 15 to 20 times. Over a week, I had, the smell was on my hand, and in that week's time, I probably washed my hand 15 or 20 different times. Okay, so you could tell if the woman that you're about to marry happens to be messing around with other women from sometimes, because all you gotta do is smell her breath. Sometimes you don't even have to be up close on it. You can be a few feet away and smell it, because some people's stuff smells that bad. So that's a hint. That's something for you to know. I know from personal experience, I found one person where that had happened, and I found that out when that person was 6 feet away from me. But anyway, some of the numbers that you need to be aware of when you're thinking about marriage. Number 1, the divorce rate is 70%. Marriage is not 50% anymore. It's 70%. 70% of marriages end in divorce. 70, that's a 70, okay? So in case you happen to be skipping class that particular day, if you have 10 sticks, 7 of those sticks out of 10 is 70%. That's how many marriages are failing. You hear what I'm saying? This is extremely important information that you need to know, because these new numbers, 70% divorce rate, has been out. It's been this way for the last 10 or 15 years. And a lot of people don't know that. They still think it's 15%. Some people that may find out this information, which I'm just giving to you right now, some people may say just those numbers by itself will say that they opt out of getting married, at least in the United States, because it's absolutely ridiculous. 70% divorce rate in the United States. 80% of women file for divorce. Let me say that again in case you didn't hear me the first time. 80% of women file for divorce. 80%. So if you had 10 sticks, 8 of those 10 sticks would be 80%. Okay? Also, too, 90% of women with college degrees file for divorce. 90% of women with college degrees, 90% file for divorce. Did you hear me? Very, very extremely important numbers that you need to know. Okay? Very, very important numbers that you need to know before you decide to marry somebody. You probably need to do a very thorough background check. If you have a little bit of money, you might want to pay a private investigator to find out, what they're doing, what the financial background is, how much debt they're truly in, as opposed to what they tell you. I was watching a show one day. This woman sat up here and was stating that she was only in about $10,000 worth of debt. Come to find out, she was in $25,000 worth of debt. So these are things that you need to take into consideration before you decide to marry somebody, because you could be a man and you might only have $5,000 or $10,000 worth of debt. And the woman that you marry, you add up everything, the debt from student loans, debt from credit cards, the debt that she may have from her children. You add all that debt up, and you might find out she might be in $500,000 worth of debt. And who do you think she's going to be asking to help her pay that debt off? That's right, you. Okay? So these are things you need to take consideration, these facts, these figures. Yes, once again, I am all for marriage. I am all for marriage. I am all for marriage. But you need to take these things into consideration before you walk down that aisle. Matter of fact, what I suggest also too, if you're a man, the wife, the woman that you're planning on marrying, bring her around your mother and father. If you have one of those real stable families and you don't have one of them serious dysfunctional families, you can do this. Don't take, if your family is seriously dysfunctional, like a lot of people's families, don't take your wife or the woman or your fiance around your family. But if they're stable, they're not toxic, they haven't shown any major toxic traits in the past, then you want to take your new fiance around your mother, around your aunts, your nieces, your nephews, your sisters, just to see what they say about her. See what they pick up about her, okay? Because another woman will see some things that a man won't see, just like a man will see some things that a woman won't see when that woman is dating another guy, okay? So, once again, this is Men Is It Worth Marrying in the U.S.? Go look at part 1, part 2, and this, of course, is part 3. Gives you a lot of very, very useful information. And please like, please share, please subscribe, and peace.